You ever get that feeling, like you're being pulled towards something, but you can't quite see it or even name it? It's like this hidden purpose, this sense of destiny. Well, what if I told you the entire universe is actually showing us exactly how that works? We're about to dive into a massive cosmic mystery and see what it can teach us about our own journey.
Check this out. 600 kilometers per second. That is how fast our galaxy, the Milky Way, and millions of others are just rocketing through space right this very second. We aren't just drifting aimlessly. No, we are being pulled with incredible force toward a destination we can't even see.
So you gotta ask, right? What is pulling us? What could possibly have enough gravitational juice to drag whole galaxies across the cosmos? For decades, this question totally stumped astronomers. The answer, it turns out, is a phenomenon that's as powerful as it is mysterious.
So here's the plan for our little journey today. First, we'll look at the science behind this crazy cosmic pull. Then we'll explore it as a metaphor for our own lives. From there, we'll break down 3 key principles for navigating this flow. We'll touch on why life feels like it's speeding up. And finally, we'll reveal a final destination that, well, it just might surprise you.
Okay, so first things first, let's ground ourselves in the actual astrophysics here. Because to really get the metaphor, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of the real-world mystery. What in the universe is this thing? Well, scientists gave it a pretty cool name, the Great Attractor. Now, it's not like a single giant star or black hole. It's better to think of it as this enormous concentration of stuff, a huge gravitational anomaly. Imagine the universe is this vast, spiderweb-like structure. The Great Attractor is like a massive junction point where all the threads come together. And the scale is just mind-bending. We're talking about a mass that's equal to tens of thousands of galaxies just like our own Milky Way. But here's the real kicker. We can't even see it. It's hidden right behind the busiest, most crowded part of our own galaxy, a region astronomers literally call the zone of avoidance. The only reason we know it exists is because we can see its undeniable, unstoppable pull on everything for hundreds of millions of light years around it.
Okay, so we've got the cosmic scale down. Now let's make a big pivot. We're going to go from the cosmos to consciousness, because this is where the source material we're looking at suggests something pretty profound is going on.
What if that invisible, irresistible pull that's shaping the very movement of galaxies, what if that's a perfect mirror for a force that's operating inside each and every one of us? That pull toward our real purpose, our destiny, our most authentic self.
So if we roll with that metaphor, it means the way the universe moves can actually teach us how to navigate our own lives. It's like the cosmos is giving us a roadmap, and from it, we can pull out 3 core principles.
Okay, principle number 1, the hidden pull. This is all about the idea that the biggest, most important forces in our lives are usually the ones we can't see with our own 2 eyes.
Think about it. The Great Attractor is hidden by all the dust and stars of our own galaxy, right? Well, in the same way, our deepest calling is often hidden by the noise of daily life. Our jobs, our to-do lists, all our worries and distractions. So the big insight here is, you don't find your purpose by trying to stare through all that noise. You find it by noticing your own motion. What are you always naturally drawn back to? That's the clue.
And that leads us right into principle number 2, measurement by effect. It's simple, really. If you can't see the thing that's pulling you, you have to learn how to read the pull itself.
Astronomers proved the Great Attractor exists by mapping how galaxies are moving. We can do the exact same thing in our own lives. We can map our purpose by its effects. What little coincidences, what synchronicities keep popping up? What ideas or opportunities just keep pulling you in, even when it doesn't make any logical sense? The pattern of your movement over time reveals your personal attractor way better than any 5-year plan ever could.
And that brings us to our 3rd principle, irresistible momentum. This one is all about the feeling of the movement. Are you pushing a giant boulder uphill, or are you just floating down a river? The universe gives us a pretty clear hint. See, galaxies aren't being pushed by some cosmic engine. They're just flowing along the curves in space-time that the Great Attractor creates. And it's the same for us. When you're really aligned with your path, it doesn't feel like this constant grinding effort. It feels like flow. Yeah, there's still momentum, there's still challenges, but the underlying direction just feels natural, inevitable even. It's the difference between forcing your way forward and just aligning with a powerful current that's already moving. Okay, so if we're all flowing toward this attractor, why does it so often feel like life is speeding up, like things are getting more and more intense? Well, this cosmic metaphor actually has a really cool answer for that too.
It's something called the velocity gradient principle. In physics, it's simple. The closer a galaxy gets to the Great Attractor, the faster it moves. The very same thing applies to us. When we're far from our personal attractor, maybe early on in our journey, change is slow, feedback is delayed. You can kind of get away with being a little off track. But as you get closer, which is how a lot of us feel right now, the pace of change becomes rapid fire. Feedback is instant. Those little synchronicities, they become the default. And there's almost zero tolerance for being out of alignment. That feeling that everything is accelerating, it's not just in your head. It's a sign you're getting closer to home.
And this brings us to the final and I think the most mind-blowing part of this whole metaphor. Where exactly are we going? What is this final destination? Because after all this talk about being pulled towards some external thing, some destination, here's the final twist. The journey isn't taking you to some place you need to get to. The attractor isn't something separate from you at all.
You are the Great Attractor. That incredible force that's pulling you. It's a more whole, more complete, more authentic version of yourself. In the cosmos, mass gets pulled toward more mass. In our lives, consciousness gets pulled toward greater consciousness. This whole journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about pulling back together all the scattered pieces of who you already are. You are both the one being pulled and the one doing the pulling.
So I'll just leave you with this to think about. If the force that's guiding you isn't out there somewhere, but is actually the deepest part of you calling yourself home, what does that change? What does that change about how you navigate your life, your choices, your challenges? What if this whole journey is just a game of remembering who you've been all along?